InvestorIdeas.com podcasts.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of InvestorIdeas.com podcasts. In today's podcast, we're going to be looking at a few public company announcements from the VLNS Company Incorporated, trading on the TSX as VLNS and the OTCQX as VLNCF, Greenlane Holdings Incorporated, trading on the NASDAQ as GNLN, CURA Holdings Incorporated, trading on the CSE as CURA and the OTCQX as CURLF, as well as the Horizons Marijuana Life Sciences Index ETF, trading on the TSX as HMMJ, and the U.S. Horizons Marijuana Index ETF, trading on the NEO as HMUS. So first, starting with the VLNS Company Incorporated, who announced its participation in a medical cannabis real-world evidence study led by Dr. Hans Clark at the University of Health Network, or the UHN, in Toronto, Canada. And the study will explore the therapeutic effects of medical cannabis in adults with chronic pain, sleep, or anxiety issues, and will leverage the blockchain-secure technology of the Medical Cannabis by Shoppers online product portal of both tested and verified cannabis products. Now, the VLNS Company has contributed to the study with the inclusion of Nuance, its exclusive brand of premium cannabis oils developed by the company for Medical Cannabis by Shoppers. And as part of the study, the Nuance line of THC and CBD oils will be tested, with the verified results of each batch made available through the Medical Cannabis by Shoppers portal for each physician and patient. And patients will be able to identify the contents of their product through the platform, including potency levels of THC and CBD, and confidently rely on the data to ensure batch-to-batch consistency and quality. Nuance oils are developed exclusively for Shoppers Drug Mart, with medical cannabis patients at the core. And to be able to participate in this real-world study and have the opportunity to understand how our products could be used as a treatment in this exciting step is the right decision for us, said Tyler Robson, the Chief Executive Officer of the VLNS Company. With insights and data from this study, we look forward to further advancing our commitment to developing and testing the highest quality and most reliable products for patients using cannabis for both medical purposes as well as recreational consumers. The MCRWE study is a prospective non-interventional observation study to describe the benefits of medical cannabis for various common medical issues and seek to enroll at least 2,000 subjects from across Canada who will be followed by for the 24 weeks. And more on this study can be found in the links attached in the article, or you can also check out the VLNS Company's website, or as well the Medical Cannabis by Shoppers website to find out more information. Obviously, this is going to be a great asset for the VLNS Company, especially for their Nuance brand, to have this real-world evidence data out there and available for consumers and for also medical practitioners to look at and advise on with their clients. Great place for any company right now to be in that any of these medical cannabis by shopper studies, but specifically for the VLNS Company, who has done really well over the last 2 years, establishing their brand, establishing their white label products, and really ensuring that they know how to deliver quality and consistency throughout this industry. It's going to be definitely a good thing to have in their pocket to be able to have all this real world data. So something to pay attention to over the next coming months. Looking next at Greenlane Holdings Incorporated, who announced today the partnership with Neoplastics, an innovative packaging company providing an entirely new sustainable solution for discarded plastics. And available this July exclusively to Greenlane customers, Neo Packaging adds an environmentally friendly offering to Greenlane's existing packaging lines. Now, Neoplastics supports landfill gas-to-energy efforts to enhance the end-of-life value of plastic packaging. And Neo's packaging contains an additive that accelerates the natural microbial digestion of the packaging material faster than standing plastic alternatives. Now, during this process, biogases are released and can be collected and turned into clean, renewable energy, which can be used to power communities. Now, sustainable packaging is in very high demand in the cannabis industry, and we are proud to offer an environmentally friendly alternative to our customers, said Aaron Lacasio, the co-founder and CEO of Greenlane Holdings. Neoplastics produces innovative and forward-thinking products that convert waste challenges into energy opportunities, and we're excited to help them with their mission to spread awareness about the world's environmental needs. So Greenlane Holdings, if you're unfamiliar with them, I've talked about them a few times, and we've had a couple interviews with them as well. One of the few companies that's publicly trading that's focused on the accessories side of this industry. And obviously now paying attention to the very much in-demand need for sustainable packaging. That's one massive issue that's facing every aspect of the cannabis industry, whether the ancillary businesses or the actual direct plant-touching businesses, that the packaging is not sustainable. not very efficiently used, and unfortunately creates a lot of waste. Even though there is recycling programs and all of that throughout Canada and in the US as well, you're still creating a massive amount of packaging. So definitely is smart to see that Green Lane is focusing on this, and working with Neoplastics to have new packaging that's going to be more sustainable and also be of use for energy as well. I don't know, again, how well that'll go. You've seen a few of these companies try to adopt sustainable packaging in the past. There have been issues on the execution of this, and it never seems to really get the mass adoption a lot of people are waiting for. Maybe this will be the change, hopefully. Next, looking at Curaleaf Holdings Incorporated, who today announced that Curaleaf has completed the acquisition from Grassroots of exclusive rights to the Grassroots All Rebels Rockers Incorporated marijuana license in Arizona. Now, the transaction was completed in advance of the closing of Curaleaf's acquisition of Grassroots to enable accelerated development of the All Rebel Rockers license. Now, Curaleaf's acquisition of Grassroots itself is expected to close early next week after the Grassroots shareholders meeting scheduled to approve the revised transaction on July 16th. Joseph Lasardi, CEO of Curaleaf, said, "Our acquisition of our ninth license in Arizona further strengthens our presence in the state, which continues to be one of the largest medical cannabis markets in the country. It also makes us on the final milestone before we formally close our acquisition of Grassroots." Now, the close of the acquisition of Grassroots will make Curaleaf the world's largest cannabis company by revenue and the most diversified vertically integrated cannabis company in the U.S. The transaction expands Curaleaf's present license from 18 to 23 states, with the combined company having over 135 dispensary licenses, 89 operational dispensary locations, over 30 processing facilities, and 22 cultivation sites with 1.6 million square feet of current cultivation capacity. So Curaleaf Holdings poised to be basically the largest U.S.-based multi-state operator. There's a few people who are pretty close to them as well within that area. But this is one of the things that's been discussed a lot when it comes to federal legalization within the US is obviously the long and trying effort it's taken for a lot of these companies to get to this point of being in multiple states, having multiple dispensary as well as operational licenses, as well as processing facilities and cultivation sites. That takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of regulatory guidance. And is a very difficult road to navigate. And so, really, with having federal legalization, there will be the opportunity for larger scale companies like Canopy Growth or really any of the larger Canadian or international LPs to come in and establish themselves a little bit faster than it would have taken Curaleaf over these last couple of years to establish its giant footprint. So I don't think they want to give up that advantage, and there has been discussions that a lot of the lobbying against federal legalization comes from a lot of these multi-state operators who are quite adamant about keeping this regulated by a state level, and keeping the industry sort of as is. The main issue, though, that remains becomes banking, and it does look like that might get addressed within the next 2 years. Lastly, looking at Horizons ETFs Management Canada, who has completed the quarterly rebalance of the constituent holdings of the Horizons Marijuana Life Sciences Index and the Horizons US Marijuana Index. So HMMJ seeks to replicate the extent possible the performance of the North American Marijuana Index and net of expenses. And this index is designed to provide exposure to a performance of a basket of North American publicly listed life science companies with significant business activities in the marijuana industry. Following volatility that impacted nearly all asset classes across global markets in March, marijuana companies saw a strong recovery in the first 2 months of the quarter two of 2020. HMMJ was up more than 15% for the 3 months ending in June 30th, said Steve Hawkins, the president and CEO of Horizons ETFs. And while there is volatility within the marijuana space again, the investing case remains strong after Canadian adult use cannabis sales set new record highs in March, and they remained consistently strong in April, reaching over 180 million. So we've had a few interviews in the past with a few different members from the Horizons ETF management team. Definitely worth checking out. And obviously, the marijuana indexes that they've created both for the NEO and the TSX are a very great baseline standard for having an eye on what's going on within the cannabis investment world right now. They've done some different rebalancing, and a few companies are now not weighted as heavily, and a few more have moved up quite significantly. Definitely worth checking out. So I would look at their website, or you can go to the Yahoo Finance pages to find out more. And also good to see that they're noticing that there is, even within the volatility of the market, there is still some positives coming out of this, and the investment world isn't running away from the cannabis industry as heavily as some people might be suggesting. So there is a little bit of positive news there, which is nice. That's all for today's podcast. Enjoy the rest of your day. That's all for today's podcast. Podcast is now a certified word trademark on the blockchain through Cognate Incorporated's CM certification. InvestorIdeas.com podcasts are also available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and TuneIn. If you'd like to be a guest or sponsor of this podcast, please contact InvestorIdeas.com. Investor Ideas reminds all listeners to read our disclaimers and disclosures on the InvestorIdeas.com website, and this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products or services or securities. Investors are reminded that all investments involve risk and possible loss of investment. Investor Ideas does not condone the use of cannabis except where permissible by law. Our site does not possess, distribute, or sell cannabis products.